They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. And I never been down with no OPP. I talk about selling our people's property. Don't know who doing it, so don't round me out. Don't send no police round me and tell me shush my mouth. Where's our conviction? But where's our pride? We selling everything, selling our backside. Just go online, it'll make you sick. You can buy any island, just point and click. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. Ride him. My mother always say when you find a donkey, ride it. Lose donkey. What? Come on. We got a whole nation in 73. Now we getting back the whole country. What kind of fools we must be, selling out for a bag of rice and a cup of tea. You know what does bug me? Help me understand. I can't find piece of property for under 80 grand, but I can fix this. I know what to do. I can squat just like them other people try make me do. See, they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. I get everybody sell some every day. They're selling one island, they won't keep. What can be left for you and me? Is this the example? What's our kids to do? You want them have a sense of pride, or go selling too? Cause they're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes man. They're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha. They're selling our country, yes, they're selling our land. They're selling our archipelago of sea and sand. Now break down the acronym like you in class. Oh, they're selling the whole country. Ooh, they're selling aha.
Whoa, girls, we out doing
Good afternoon, Bahamas. It is so good to have all of you here. Thank you for tuning in and welcome. It's a special broadcast today. We're having a special broadcast because so many people were calling me today and asking me about, what is going on, exactly what is going on with this advertisement that was being passed around by the government that they sent out there to give information that it appears the government was going to start taking people's properties / homes in the event that they have not paid their real property tax in 7 months. And so people wanted to understand this, and there were some people saying things all over the place, and people didn't understand. Some people were defending the government, and some people were saying that this is ridiculous, this shouldn't happen. And so we just wanted to explain, because I made a commitment to make sure that whenever the government is up to its dirty tricks, that I would explain to you. And so instead of waiting for Sunday to do this, I decided to have a special broadcast because of how many people spoke out about this. Even the chairman of the FNM spoke about this, and the chairman of the PLP came back and spoke about this. But I'm going to break this down for you so you understand exactly what is going on, and you understand exactly how this affects you and yours. Okay, and so just wanted to do this to make sure that you know exactly what's going on. So I'm going to get straight to the point because I'm not going to go long today. I'm going to say exactly what's going on, answer your questions, and try to do this as quickly as possible. So we have to get straight to the point. So we're going to start from the actual document that the government sent out. This is another embarrassing piece of work from the document, embarrassing piece of information from the government that they're sending out. And we have to go through this and analyze this. And I'm going to show you, we're going to actually go to the law that they quoted in here. And I'm going to show you just exactly how imbecilic this government is, and how they have to keep saying that they've misspoken, and how deceitful they are. I'm going to show you all of this in a minute. But just want to remind you that coming up on June 2nd, which is Labor Day, on June 2nd, join us for a mass rally at Windsor Park, and that is at East Street and Wolf Road. There's going to be lots of parking, lots of security for your vehicles. And so don't worry, you're going to be safe. It's going to be lots of parking there. You can come and park right inside the park. And it's going to be something to remember. All right. We're going to be releasing our first set of shadow ministers. So make sure you are there and make sure all of your family members are there. And so we're going to be releasing our first set of shadow ministers that we're going to be releasing periodically up to the time of the election, and sometimes shuffling some of them. But we're going to be releasing our shadow ministers who are going to be out there and be the voice of the Bahamian people. So it's time. We are raising an army, and we're ready to get this done. So just to remind you, that is taking place on Labor Day. All right. Also, just a quick reminder, we're having our organization is having a tea party. And so you're welcome to join us. And men, from our men's organization, men, you're invited to this also. I'm going to be there. So men, come down to the headquarters, buy your tickets. It's on May 28th. It's at the Southeast Mansion. So come down. There's going to be activities, et cetera, et cetera. Come down, dressed to impress, and be a part of our tea party on May 28th. All right. And so be a part of that. So men, we need you to buy some tickets. It's going to be a lot of beautiful women there. The COI has the most beautiful women. So make sure you are there. Come get your tickets and make sure you are there. All right. And so just want to get that out of the way. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a document that was going around all day. Public notice, power of sale. Public notice, power of sale. And so this was sent out by the government of the Bahamas, but not just the government of the Bahamas, the people who are supposed to be some of the smartest people in the government, and that is the Internal Revenue Department of the Bahamas. They're supposed to be extremely smart and extremely intelligent, all right? And because they got to deal with the money. They got to deal with the money and make sure that everything is going right so the country can flow. So this is the nonsense that they sent out today. Extremely embarrassing. The Department of Inland Revenue wishes to advise the general public that effective June 2023, the department will begin enforcement exercises regarding power of sale under the Real Property Tax Act, Section 25A. So that's what they said. So that's what they're advising the general public. Not that they need to advise the general public of that, because the law is law and has always been the law. But thank you for setting that out. But remember the section, Real Property Tax Act, Section 25A. Make a note of that. Write that down, as Dr. Miles used to say. And they explained it. This means the Department of Inland Revenue will have the power to sell properties whose real property tax has remained unpaid for 7 months. This applies to all real property. That means all properties. That's what that is saying. That applies to all properties. And so by what they're saying is, that's the vacant property, if you're building on a property, a house on a property, etc., all real property. All right? Because you can't separate a building from the land. And it says, including commercial properties, residential properties, and foreign vacant owned land, with the exception of Bahamian owner-occupied properties. And so here we have a big quagmire. All right? So they put this piece in the back, with the exception of Bahamian owner-occupied property. So if Bahamians own the property, but they're not living there, they're going to take the property. That's what that's saying. If Bahamians, that's what this is saying. So if Bahamians own the property, but not living there, so if you have more than one house, the one you don't live in, they're going to take it. Or if you have a house for rent or an apartment for rent, you don't live there, they're going to take it. So with the exception of Bahamian owner-occupied property. So that is what they're saying. And this can't be talking about vacant property, because it says exception of Bahamian owner-occupied, because it can't occupy vacant property. So this is what they put down in writing, all right? This is completely embarrassing, right? These people don't know how to govern. And we pay them a lot of money, and we get impressed with their credentials and their code suits, etc., but they are really dumb. But this particular government is so busy partying that they don't have time to get things right. But that is what they said, okay? And some people said, oh, we'll see. If you live in the house, they won't take it from you. Now, here's where I have a problem with that, all right? I'll get to what it really means, but here's where I have a problem with that. There is no guarantee that this Prime Minister and government has ever given us that they have lived up to. None. There is nothing that Philip Brave Davis has said to the Bahamian public that he has lived up to. He has always, on every instance, gone against his word. You would remember that he said that, oh, we're not going to be dealing with the marital rape situation. That's not on the agenda. We're not dealing with that. Then the marital rape situation came up. He said, we're not going to raise the cost of electricity. He said, I'm not going to let that happen, not on my watch. And then a couple months later, the cost of electricity went up, but he's the one that announced it. All right? Nothing he says, I could give more examples, but nothing he says. So even if he says that, okay, we're not going to take the properties of Bahamians who live in their houses, listen, do not trust anything that this government says. If they keep telling you stuff and doing the opposite of what they say, and you keep believing them or giving them the benefit of the doubt, you can't blame them. You must blame yourself. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that is the truth of it. And so we can't be falling for this stuff. So anything they say, you know one thing is the truth, and that is the opposite of what they say. So don't be a fool and be confident because they say, oh, no. If Bahamians and it's Bahamian occupied, we're not going to touch it. Yeah, right. Like you weren't going to add new taxes, but now you're taxing us on Facebook and everything else you can find to tax us on. Seriously? No, we ain't falling for that on this run. That's the old Bahamians. This the new Bahamians. So don't trust them. Now, so what we want to do is read Bahamas Read, because we have a new educated populace. All right. Make sure you share this. Take some time to share this and tag some people right in here. All right. Tag some people. So here we go. They quoted the Real Property Tax Act, Section 25A, and then they talk about taking these commercial residential properties, and the only ones that won't get taken is the owner-occupied ones. Okay. So they're talking about buildings, etc. By how this is worded. All right, so let me get to the bottom of this. So Real Property Tax Act, Section 25A. So let's go to that section and actually read it. And they quote these stuff because they know that Bahamians really don't read. All right, but this set of Bahamian, we're gonna read. All right, so here we go. This is the Real Property Tax Act, Section 25A. Let me go to the top so you can see that that's what this is. Real Property Tax Act. All right, that's what it is. And let me go back down to 25. Where is it? Okay, that's 28. Let's go back to 25. All right, 25A. This was amended in 2009. All right, and the amendment is right here. So 25A, what does this say? Notwithstanding Section 23, where any real property tax relative to unimproved property is in arrears and unpaid. So I'll stop there. So where any property tax relative to unimproved, that means there's vacant land. You didn't build anything on the land. All right. So this is related to that. 5A is related to not anything to do with buildings or homes. So is in less and unpaid, the treasurer may sell the unimproved property in respect of which the tax is due and payable for the recovery of real property tax. So that is what they're talking about. This act that they're referring to is actually talking about. So whereas you're getting this scare of taking homes and buildings, they misquoted everything. This was an epic fail, and it was absolute garbage. This act is talking about vacant land. And so if this act is talking about vacant land, you clearly mistook what you were writing. And so what they wrote was clear rubbish, absolute garbage. And so we'll go back to this document. Oh, I had something over there, so you couldn't really see what I was reading, but I read it anyway. I'm sorry, I still had the poster over here. All right, and so let me tell you what this exactly is that took place here. Let me tell you what went down. And I've been saying this to you and over, and I'm going to say this to you one more time because we keep panicking when the government does stuff like this. This is an old political science trick. Anytime the government wants to do something, but they want to see what the reaction of the people is first, they are going to put something out in the press, in the newspaper, and they're going to leave a loophole in there so they can come back and say, oh, we weren't really doing that. Oh, we misspoke on that. We weren't really going to do that. We're sorry. Moving right along. Next issue. And so they always test the water first. All right? They always test the water first. And they will test the water. And if you respond, then they're going to walk back on it. But if you don't respond, they're going to go forward. So if there was no response and reaction to them putting this document out, they were going to start taking your homes and properties. That is a guarantee. That is how governments operate. But because you responded, and remember, I've taught you this over and over, this is how they operate. They're going to put something out there first and test you. All right? And that is what they were doing. And they left that there opaque and clear and really, a real work of stupidity so that they could walk back on it if they need to. This is not the last time that this government is going to try this. This is a trick of governments all over. You're taught this in political science. You always test the water before you jump in. Just like businesses, they teach you to do a study, a controlled study before you go into launching a product. And that's what governments do. So anytime you see them make this kind of announcement, they are trying to see what your reaction is. Boy, we can make some good money if we collect on these real property tax. But boy, we don't know how people are going to feel if we start enforcing that. You know what? Let's put something out there and see how they're going to feel. But we got to word it in such a way that we can come back and say, oh, we talking about the foreigners. And the problem is you cannot enforce this kind of law discriminatively, especially because of the Constitution. You can't say that you're going to discriminate on a person because of their place of origin. So you can't say, well, we're only going to enforce this on the foreigner, but not on the Bahamian. So foreigners are going to be forced to pay their real property tax, but not Bahamians. Someone is going to challenge that, and the government is going to have some problems with that. All right. So that is clearly was not their goal. Their goal was to put this out there, see how you feel about it, and be able to walk back on it. That's what this whole thing was about. That this nasty do-nothing government was plotting on the Bahamian people. That is what this was about. All right. And so we have to be wise. We have to be sharp and not fall for their trickery. There's nothing else to this. Now, Fred Mitchell put out a statement in response. Dwayne Sands put out a statement on this. Dwayne Sands says, "Oh well, the government owes people, and so how could the government owe people, and now they want to come after people who owe the government?" Dwayne Sands, your government raped and robbed this country. Y'all taxed us into oblivion while y'all was stealing from us millions of dollars, probably billions. The IMF accused y'all of taking their money and not giving account. We do not want to hear anything from you, Pintard, Minnis, Crazy Thompson, or anyone in that ministry. Sit down and shut up. Let the Bahamian people deal with this. We are not interested in anything that you have to say. You kept us locked down, Dwayne Sands, former Minister of Health, while you allowed some foreigners to come in with a bribe that, oh, see, they brought some swazzers, some nasal swazzers that we could use to test people with. So we had to let them in. Seriously? They could have FedExed it to us. They could have mailed it. They could have shipped it. Shipping was not stopped. You guys were criminals. And we do not want to hear from anyone in the F&M right now. Get lost. I've deleted your voice note that you were sending around. It is absolute nonsense and you have no credibility. Go and sit down and carry Pintard with you and Minnis. And so also the chairman of the PLP also responded. It's so interesting that these chairmen are responding. And so instead of the government officials responsible for this responding, like the minister responsible for finance, Fred Mitchell responded. All right, and let's hear what she has to say. For immediate release, it says 11th of May, 2023. The chair of the F&M is being an alarmist in his voice note that the government is seeking to take the property of Bahamians. He ought to have checked before jumping to a false conclusion. This is utterly ridiculous because the whole document was flawed, and so you can't say that he came to a false conclusion. Based on the document, you can't say that, Fred Mitchell. Next, he said, his voice note is based on an ad which appeared in today's press by the Inland Revenue Service. The ad was inartfully written. Inartfully written. Fred? No. It was absolute garbage. And gave rise to the misinterpretation. Misinterpretation. You put out a false document. Again, the sentence construction listed the, now they're going to talk about grammar. The sentence construction listed the descriptions disjunctively, which means not connected, instead of conjunctively, which means connected. So he's saying that we should have connected the words in the description instead of seeing them separately. Let's take a minute to do that. Okay, Fred, let's try to understand exactly what it is you were talking about. Okay? Where's his nonsense document? Okay, here. So we should have read it like this. This means that the DIR will have the power to sell properties whose real property tax has remained unpaid for 7 months. And this is where he wanted us to have it conjunctively, meaning together. This applies to all real property, and so we should have moved including, because that makes it disjunctive, all real property which are commercial, residential, foreign-owned, vacant land, with the exception of Bahamian owner-occupied property. I don't see where making that conjunction changes anything. So in other words, he's saying we should read it as all real property that is commercial or residential or foreign-owned vacant land, with the exception of Bahamian owner-occupied. Fred, no. I think you graduated from high school sometime in the 60s, and I don't think you remember how the English language works. So I think you have a little issue there. All right. I don't think it makes a difference whether it is read conjunctively or disjunctively. No, thank you. All right. And so let me go back to finish off this statement that you made. The Economic Affairs Minister and the Finance Minister have assured me that the idea is to seek to collect monies owed from non-Bahamian land owners and entities who have tied up lands from development but owe substantial taxes. I have asked the authorities to clarify this position by releasing a corrected ad. So if you're saying that this ad is incorrect, then you shouldn't be accusing people of coming to false conclusions. Your ad was false. Wouldn't you say? But instead of just saying the real plan was, oh, we were just trying to put this out there and scare the hell out of y'all to see what your reply would be. That's the trick. And this is what we have to be careful of. That's what they were up to. They are trying to find every way to tax us into oblivion. Every single way. Oh, national insurance isn't going to go up. Oh, yeah, national insurance is going up. The cost of electricity isn't going to go up. Well, it's going up. Nothing they say has turned out to be true, and they are taxing us to death. How about this? How about Fred Mitchell, you and Philip Brave Davis, some of these meetings that you are flying all over the world on, how about you do them by video call? Even the President of the United States has meetings by video call. How about you all have some of these meetings by video call instead of all of these first-class trips with caviar and champagne and steak and onions and all of this balling that you all do? Because at the end of the day, while y'all are traveling, civil servants are not being paid on time. This is embarrassing in 2023. Civil servants are not being paid on time. The police reservists were promoted 2 years ago. They had promotions. And you know they were not paid for their promotions yet. 2 years now. And they won't say a word to them. But they can continue to tax us into oblivion while we're not getting what we're supposed to get. Meanwhile, tomorrow, a bunch of PLPs are going to Long Island to open one road while the other roads around it are full of holes, but they're going to party and only show that road. We need to make sense in this country. All right. So I just wanted to bring this to your attention, that the whole purpose of that was to test you. All right. It was to test you. We are sitting down. Our pay is getting cut. We're suffering. Things are getting hard for us. Bahamians can't afford grocery in the food store. While these people balling and sending the pictures and dancing in your face. But yeah, they're going tomorrow to Long Island to cut ribbon. And listen, they can have more steak and caviar and champagne while they're in Long Island. But they go cut the ribbon, say, hey, that finished? Okay, party time. pay for all those plane tickets. All they're doing is balling, cutting deals for themselves, while we get nothing. Nothing. All right. So just wanted to put that before you. We got to be wise with what's going on. I just wanted to make you understand that. Stop falling for their tricks and their deceitfulness. I'm going to open the lines for a few minutes, and then I'm going to be out here because this is not a normal live day for me. I'm going to open the line for a few minutes. Tell me what you think about this whole thing. Is there anything you don't understand? Any questions you want answered? I'm going to open the lines and take this off. Not disturbed. 803-5995. You can call in if you have any questions. 803-5995. 803-5995. Be wise. The government have shown you that you cannot trust them. Only a fool will trust anything that comes from this government at this time. All right, let's go to phone lines. Good afternoon. You're live. How you doing?
You say.
All right. 803-5995. 803-5995. 803-5995. We lost that one. 803-5995. All right, this is 803-5995. You are live.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. I'm not calling to ask any questions.
Go ahead.
Anything about tonight. I just want to say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from Abago.
Mm-hmm.
I sure like to speak for a lot of people here in Abago. I work on construction sites. I work for myself, so I'm always different places. And when I'm on jobs, I always talk about you. That's Coalition of Independence, right?
Thank you, man.
And there's so much people who says, I'm not phone after them and PLP this time, Coalition of Independence.
Awesome.
And you always have a bad seat in the crowd. I always try to convert them too.
Awesome. Yes, we got to convert them. Everyone's eyes isn't open. We got to help them.
Open eyes, but you're doing a good job. Listen, many people listening and watching, and the eyes opening very fast.
Thank you, man.
Okay, have a good night.
Thank you. You too. 803-5995. 803-5995. You can call via WhatsApp or regular call. I saw some of you was trying to call in. You can call now. 803-5995. What do you think about all of this? I mean, they keep swinging us. They keep doing everything to make themselves rich, cutting deals. Listen, the PLP is cutting so much deals right now, it will blow your mind. Good afternoon. You're live.
Good night, my president.
How you doing?
I am great, but in the meantime, I'm pissed.
Wow.
Seeing this notice, it just gives me an automatic headache.
Wow.
If my Bahamian people don't wake up, I don't know what else. They keep telling you in your face, like, listen, nigga, too bad, too sad.
Yeah.
So 60,000 plus Bahamians, they can't tell you the last time they paid property taxes, and they're saying 7 months. Like, really?
Yeah.
Some people haven't paid their mortgage for 7 months.
Yeah.
So my Bahamian people, they better wake the hell up, because who knows, they could leave home. Next, there's eviction notice on your door. And when you come back, and then on top of it, then you have to fight the government in court, and you don't even have the funds.
Wow.
Bahamians have to wake up, because it's going to cost you more. And he's showing you every day that he don't give a rat's behind what is happening to y'all. This ain't no time to be worried about PLP and F&M. He's telling y'all in your face, too bad, too sad. Wherever they held y'all up to sleep, then go right ahead. And this is what is happening. Bahamians are in their comfort zone, and this man is showing them blatantly that he don't care.
Yeah.
Wow. So when our 60,000 of them are going to come out on the street at Russell Square and shut this country down, and be there for the next 3 damn days. Bring your slop bucket, bring whatever, and stay there until you get out of the house.
Yeah.
That's what has to be done.
Thank you for your call.
All
right. Someone, all right, we have another call on the line. Just hold 1 sec, call. I just wanted to comment to this person who is on here. The person said out of 60,000 plus, why only 270 people are on here? There's actually 1,393 people on here, system-wide, with people on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, all over, and many different platforms that are on here. You might be just seeing whatever platform you are on. And you will remember that a lot of people don't get their notifications, but it's your job to spread the news. You have to spread the message. Normally you will see a number on there, but afterwards you will see that 5, 10, 15,000 people actually was watching. So those numbers just go so far. All right. But at the end of the day, it's your job to spread the message. So make sure you spread the message. All right. We see the calls coming in. So let me go back to the phone lines. Good evening. You're live.
Hello, Mr. Ben.
Hi, how you doing?
Hello. Yeah, Mr. Ben. I just want to say to the whole Bahamas and to all of the politicians and the opposition and the now PLP, we want them to know, and we are putting them on notice. I and my family and all of the people I can influence, we want them to know that we is not going to fall for their tactics anymore with them passing the ball on us. And we are standing behind you 110% all the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we're going to sweep them into the sea of oblivion.
Yes, we will. Thank you for your call. Looking forward to seeing you at the rally.
Keep up the good works.
Thank you, man. Okay, another caller was calling in. We just missed them. 803-5995 is the number. And so you will see the reason we put up this chat here, this chat box here, is one, because sometimes after the line, the chats disappear, like they try to delete the chats. And then you can see all of the people on different platforms on YouTube and everything else, where they're commenting right here. That's why we don't just leave the chat that you have on your platform, so that everyone together can see. All right. Good evening, you're live.
Yeah, good night, Mr. President. Calling from Freeport.
Awesome, man. How you doing?
Man, everything cool. I had an interesting conversation with a gentleman from the Eastern Elegant Bahama today by the name of Mr. Russell.
Okay.
And he's interested. I'm gonna send you his card. I want you to reach out to him. So we can have something going in the 8 Mile Rock area. He said that he saw when you were down in 8 Mile Rock the other day, and he liked what you were doing, and he has some information that he can probably pass on to you also.
Awesome.
And he'll be a good eye opener for that particular area. So I'm going to send you a WhatsApp.
Awesome.
And thanks again, Chief.
Thank you too, man. Appreciate it. The line is live. 803-5995 is your chance to talk. 803-5995 is the number, so call in. 803-5995. So right now, system-wide, you're looking at 1,405 persons. So share. Make sure we get this out there. Make sure the world knows what's going on. As you will know, Facebook doesn't send notifications in most instances when I go live. So you have to share this. Good afternoon, you're live.
Yes, I have a question concerning the ruling from the Privy Council
Sure.
about these persons who born here automatically entitled to citizenship. I would like to know if the Privy Council supersedes our Constitution.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
The Privy Council does not supersede them, but what the Privy Council does is it has the authority to interpret the Constitution, and they interpret it how they want to interpret it. Okay? And if you leave any of your laws vague and open, they can take the liberty to interpret it in the way they want. And so that is why sensible countries don't leave their laws vague. But the Bahamas is known, they have a reputation for having vague laws and laws with a lot of loopholes, so that those in power and those in the known with money know how to get around the laws. And so that is why we have laws, for example, we never put a deputy prime minister in our law, all right? We don't have a life sentence in our law. We don't know how much a life sentence is, and that's why you can go to the court and say, well, we feel you already took this fella's life. He did 7 years in prison. His life is done. And then the court will say, okay, let him out. Because all we have to do is define a life sentence means you stay in there until you're paroled or until you're dead. But we refuse to do that. And that's what our lawyers, if we keep putting in power, do, because they keep loopholes in our laws. These loopholes keep showing up. as we continue to experience their crookedness.
So can we, when we change this government, can these things be rectified, these loopholes, can
they are going to be rectified immediately. I am the king of loopholes. As you can see, if you've been following me, I always identify the loopholes of Bahamian people. People in the industry and in law, when you learn some of these loopholes, you keep it secret because that is like a magician. And when you learn the magic tricks, you don't go out there and tell the world, this is how you do the magic trick. And so with lawyers, they keep these loopholes to themselves, knowing that they can get around the system by doing this and that. So another one of you saw what happened recently with the same ruling. Well, not that ruling, the previous ruling with the shanty towns, where the judge said, well, the people didn't get notice. And because they didn't get notice, that's a loophole, you couldn't demolish their places. All right. So these kinds of things, the government knows that they were supposed to give notice, but they intentionally didn't do it because that was their loophole to get around it. But they know Bahamians won't know that. And so they can continue to trick us and deceive us while they're stalling with this whole thing.
Thank you, Beth. Your good explanation.
Thank you, too. All right. The line is free, 803-5995, 803-5995. Our laws is full of loopholes that we have to close in order to end the corruption in this country. And we know exactly what those loopholes are. And we're going to make this a country that everyone is proud to live in. If you're just tuning in, remember that we have a rally coming up on Labor Day. That's June 2nd. And we're looking forward to seeing all of you there. We have to show them the strength of the Bahamian people so that they can stop with this nonsense. Good afternoon, you're live. I'm good. How you doing?
I'm right here up in arms with this foolishness. It's another thing the government trying to throw at the Bahamian people.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. What is our end game with these people? Because I'm like up to my neck with them. And this rallying all the time and coming down, we need another solution because if this was another country, a lot of things that the Bahamians allowed, the people would have been in the street.
Yep.
And them MPs wouldn't have been able to pass and go to their house where they live.
Yep.
And Parliament would not have been open because they was going to get torched and burned down.
Yeah.
They joking with people's lives.
Yeah.
Ain't no jobs in the country. My thing is, they giving the Haitians all the jobs.
Yep,
and
everywhere
they
you go.
Attack the Bahamian people to the bone. And they are joking. People are tired and people are fed up and people are disappointed and people are frustrated. And you can hear my frustration. I'm really trying to be professional right now.
Yeah.
And speaking. But we need to get past this foolishness. And they're looking up and giggling like hyenas in the House of Parliament.
Wow.
While their families are being taken care of. And all of Ginger Moxie, them talking about everybody can talk.
Wow.
People talking because they hate you. They talking foolishness. And I don't trust them. And look, when he sent all these things while he's out of town, and watch all these things happening, tripling, one thing after the other. They think this is a joke.
Yeah.
When people tired of them, they gonna see because I tired. I don't want to go down from. They take the what you call it from the people, their money, their natural resources from the people. I was ready to go there by myself.
Wow.
And pick it.
Wow.
Plenty things they are doing is against the Constitution.
Yes.
And I am tired.
Yeah.
If I'm frustrated and tired, what you think about the little man? What you think about the rich man who have all those properties and he ain't paid their real property tax and slamming, and some of them MPs who ain't paid their own, and their light bills outrageous, and they holding on to the Bahamian money. I'm tired.
Yeah.
What is our end game, Lincoln? Because they ain't listening to us, so we need to show them.
Our end game is a new Bahamas. That is our end game. And we are going to...
No. I mean now. What is our end game now? Because they taking us for a joke.
Yes, they are.
Listening.
Yes, they are. They're taking the Bahamian people for a joke.
Everybody I talked to today was talking about this.
Yeah.
All in Bimini and Berry Island and people in other islands, they're talking about this. So if this PLD government think they can get away with this, good for them.
Thank you for your call.
All right.
All right, the line is free now. What's most interesting about this? If the Department of Inland Revenue, call it just hold for 1 second, I'll get to you in a second. If the Department of Inland Revenue cannot be trusted to know the law, one, because they put a law that doesn't relate to us. If they can't be trusted to know the law, and call, I'll get right with you. If they can't be trusted to know the law or to put out a proper press release as what's his name, Fred Mitchell says it was incorrect. If they can't be trusted to put out a press release, how could we trust them to manage our revenue, to manage our taxes, to tax us properly? How could we trust them with the most important job in this nation? Don't tell me they just made a mistake. These are highly paid professionals. They didn't just make a mistake. All right? And if that's the kind of mistake they made, we cannot trust them with the most important duty in this country. Good evening, you're live.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I am well, sir. Mr. Bain, I'm a 55-year-old young man. I have lived in this country. I love this country.
Mm-hmm.
And there were times when I came here and there were times when I wanted to leave this country. But you know what I realized? It's not us leaving the country. It's us taking our country, getting serious about who we are as Bahamians and making a difference in our country. Over 50 years, what have we been getting? What have we been getting? What have we been seeing? The same thing over and over and over and over again. Anything is better than what we've been getting. We need to make a change. It's time for us to give the coalitions a chance and let's make a difference in our nation, because if we keep this up, we are gonna die.
Yeah. But we gotta do what we have to do, my brother. We gotta fight.
That's what I'm saying.
It isn't gonna fall in our hands.
No, sir.
We can't sit down waiting on God to do. God wants us to do. God didn't kill Goliath. David did, with the strength of God.
Exactly.
All right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you for your
Thank you so
call.
much. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Good evening, you're live.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Bear.
How you doing?
I'm good. I got a question now. The government, is it true that our government owes like $12 billion to China?
Well, not just to China, but to a lot of different institutions, including the World Bank, IMF, etc.
All right. Now, my question is, when you get involved in it, because they know it can happen, right? And my question is, are you all planning on paying this off? Because look at China right now, so they're taking about our 50th celebration. I see that now, so or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of offensive. I mean, I guess they're going to do something to honor us. I guess that's how they're going to paint it. But this needs to be our culture. We shouldn't have anyone else's culture displayed during our 50th anniversary. But it's indicative of how they've seen the Bahamian people. Our culture has never been important to us. They've always taught us that we're not important. And that's why when we get off the plane in Miami, from time immemorial, all of a sudden we start what they call yanking. We start talking like Americans because we downgrade our own accent as if it's a problem with it. The foreigners like it, but we feel that you're unintelligent if you speak with a Bahamian dialect. And so we lose our culture. We go to the Middle East and we start wearing their clothes. All right. So we don't have an identity. I think this should have been strictly Bahamian.
Exactly. But my big question is that this their fear. Like, you know, does the government look like they're paying it off right now?
All right, so let me explain debt. Debt, sovereign debt is different. It's a little bit different than your personal debt. America is in $33 trillion worth of debt. It might be 36 by now. And so they're in huge debt. They lend to people. They operate. And they're in huge debt, and their debt continues to grow. Even China that lends to people has some debt. All right, England has some debt. So the debt isn't the big issue. It's the debt to GDP is how they calculate it. It's still deceitful, but it's how they calculate it. So a lot of powerful companies that you know about, the big major corporations, they have huge debt, but they're still operating and they use debt to operate. The problem that we have is not the debt. The problem is what we do with the debt. So if you go and get a bank loan of $100,000 to build a duplex, all right, you start when you build a duplex, and then that duplex starts paying for itself, that's a different story than someone else who gets $100,000 from the bank to buy a car, right?
Exactly.
And so what we've been doing is borrowing debt to pay previous debt and to buy frivolous things that we can't make money from. That's why you don't see where the money is going. That's why they'll borrow $5-6 billion in one term, and you don't see where the money is gone. But what countries, what smart countries do is they borrow money that they can invest. China actually borrows from the World Bank and IMF because they're still considered a third world nation. So they get almost debt-free loans because their credit is good. So they, instead of spending their own money, they will take money from the IMF, invest it and flip it. All right, or take money from the IMF, lend it to the $30 million to the Bahamas to build a stadium, get the Bahamas' favor, and then they would pay that money back on time while getting good credit so they could borrow almost free money. So China is the biggest borrower from the IMF. So it isn't the debt, it's what you are doing with it. So what we are going to do is, if you're badly in debt and your bills are racking up that you can't afford to make it, you don't need to cut down your expenses. No need to do, make more money.
Yeah.
So if your bills are $1,000 a month and you're making $900 a month, you don't need to cut your bills down to $900. You need to make $1,500 or $2,000. But the problem is we are not investing in things that we can make money from, like Dubai did. All right, like Qatar, Norway. Qatar invested in real estate all over the world. All right, they flip their money. They invested in the stock market. These are things that we will do when we get in. So it's not just about the debt. We're going to get rid of that debt with our natural resources, but we're going to change our thinking from being a consumer government to a government that opens companies that is owned by all Bahamians. And that's how all of us get a piece of the pie. And it's going to be big money from, like the cruise ship industry, like the shipping industry, like into solar electricity and that kind of stuff. Into investing in major companies around the world, especially AI companies that are exploding right now.
All right, and then one more question. Like,
okay, make it quick because the phone's going off the hook.
All right, but like the resorts and stuff with opening these private resorts, are taking a lot of money out of the Bahamian pockets, and people buying this land, not leasing it. That would be a major problem in the future for our future generation.
Well, not in the New Bahamas. If we keep voting PLP and FNM, it will be a major problem because everything just goes away. But like what happened with, I've explained it before, when Atlantis came here, we gave them everything. They took our money out of the banks, built Atlantis, they gave them crown land, we gave them concessions, everything. When they went to Dubai said, listen, you can come, but we're going to own half and you go own half. They were like, deal, we're not finished. We want half of everything you have around the world. What you have in South Africa, what you have in the Bahamas, and everything. They got a piece of it for their people. Not for the government, for their people. All right? Do you see the difference in the thinking? So moving forward, when these companies come and invest, they're normally looking for money, We are going to, as a people, have the money to invest with them. We're going to partner with them instead of just being slaves making up beds. All right?
All right, then thanks.
Thank you for your call, man. All right. Okay, the phone line is free now. You can call in. A lot of people were calling in while I was on the call. But I think there was an important question to ask just now. Good evening, you're live.
Good evening, Mr. B.
How you doing?
Good, and you?
Awesome.
Today is my first time calling. I always listening.
Thank you, man.
We're here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I didn't get a chance to meet you down in Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
As I had planned. but yesterday, it's a nice sized group of Bahamians over here.
Mm-hmm.
And we all looking at this situation going on home and just in awe and how our Bahamian people are constantly getting in strain or swamped
from these consecutive governments. And so, one of the things, man, I would like to, for all the beings under the sound of my voice, every time I listen to your lives, it angers me more and more and more.
Wow.
And for that last today and the one before that, when we talked about taking the benefits from our civil servants,
yeah,
I mean, I think that's the last straw.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember when the PLP won this last time, I went on both of my family chats, Kerry's and the McCartney's, and I said, y'all that celebrate, but sad could be your cry. And you're so sad, so dark.
Yep.
But I just hope and pray, we over here, we on the outside looking in, and we could actually see what's going on, and they on the ground down there and they can't see.
Wow.
They still on these family chats arguing back and forth amongst themselves, family members.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that, man, and it's a pleasure speaking with you today. First time calling, and I'll be sure to try to catch you on these lives. And we over here watching, man. Just wait. Call the embassy right before the last election to see when it was time to come down to register to vote. And your boy went ahead and he called an early election, so I couldn't get home to vote.
Oh, wow.
But hey, I'll be down there this time.
Make sure, do it early this time. Make sure you register, and let's get this done.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks for your call. We appreciate you, man.
Have a good night, you too.
All right. We are building a home that our Bahamians can come back home to. We are building a home where your vision builds the country, not the vision of the government. We have a lot of vision and educated people that we're going to present to you, but your vision is going to do it. Good evening, you're live. Good evening, you're live.
Hey, good evening.
How you doing?
Good. I was listening to the news. I mean, I was watching it on Facebook the other day, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the Attorney General, Ryan, whatever his name is, the snake. So he was talking about the marijuana bill, trying to, bring this about now. It's like everything they're doing now is to try and get us to get back onto good terms with them.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, because I know they track you and they listen to your show.
Yeah, they do.
So I really wanted their ass to catch this. That we watching all of that, you understand? And we ain't worrying about what they do no more. We don't care if they don't even pass the bill no more, you understand? Because once they lose this election, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can respond.
Yeah.
So we be patient now, we can wait. There's only 3 more years, you know what I mean? And we ain't worrying about nothing else. Fred Mitchell the other day, he was talking about yesterday as well. But a new Bahamian head of state.
Yeah.
Listen, you trying to store something up, we want it a long time. We can do all of that under Lincoln now. You understand? We don't care about your ideas, because I believe King Charles twisting their arm, in my opinion.
Listen.
The hotel, the British Colonial is about to open back up again. We don't know where that comes from. You understand?
Listen, the only things they do is things that they hear me talking about on these lives. This whole taxing that they're bringing up, you will notice that recently I started talking about the Bay Street and how that looked, and that we were going to take that area over and fix it up and revamp that. Now they went up there and said that they put out some demolition orders for that area. They always do things in response to what I say. And I made it clear that some of those people owe taxes, and we're going to take those buildings from them. All right? And now you saw them come with this nonsense. Listen, we are running this country. All right? From our lives every week. We are running this country. The real cabinet of the country is taking place on our lives every single week. And that's all they're responding to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call, man. I appreciate it. 803-5995. Some other person was trying to get in. I'll take 1 or 2 more. I didn't even expect to go this long, but I just want to answer people's questions. A lot of people have questions. All right. 803-5995. Call in now. This is your chance for everyone who's trying to get in. Oh, Lord, we missed 26 of you. I'm sorry. We missed 26 of you. But we are already running this country And all it takes now is to put us in there to do what is right for the Bahamian people. Because everything they steal from us, they're going to try to twist it in a way that they don't really do it, to make it seem like they're going to do something, and then they're not really going to do it. So we can't fall for this nonsense. All right? We can't fall for this nonsense. We are running this country, and we're just waiting to do what we have to do. Good afternoon, you're live.
Hi, Lincoln. I was recently at the U.S. Embassy.
Yes.
And it was shocking how much foreigners were at the embassy with Bahamian documents, applying, to try to get a visa to I guess, get into the U.S.
Yeah.
And, what Bahamians and our government needs to understand is that these foreigners don't plan. Their plan and their goal is not to stay here in our country and work and contribute. Their end goal is the U.S., the majority of them. And so the Bahamas is just like a stepping stool for them. They don't really care about this country. Mm-hmm. They don't care about this country getting better, and they just using this as a means to end to get to the U.S. Mm-hmm. And that's a serious thing. Bahamians need to wake up, and our government need to realize that these people, they don't care about this country at the end of the day. They're just trying to get to their goal, which is the U.S. But that's all I got to say.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing all of you at the rally on Labor Day. Don't come by yourself. Bring somebody with you. It's going to be lots of space to park your car. Just come right inside the park, and you're going to be able to park. All right. I didn't want to do a long live today. I've done an hour, and so I'll see you again on Sunday. Unless say, Lincoln, don't cut the live show tonight, please. Listen, you can't imagine how much work we do behind the scenes, and me cutting this live short. We are fighting for a lot of people, reading a lot of documents for a lot of people, doing a lot of work that you can't even imagine. The work we do, you don't even see 1% of 1% of it. I don't charge $1 for anything I do in helping people and aiding people. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And so I have no time for myself now. I have no time for myself. And so the same thing with Maria Doxson. I don't know how she makes it. The same thing with Ms. Green and others who are behind the scene. But I'm looking forward for all of you to now start to see a lot of the Bahamians, and we're going to drip feed them. We're going to release them piece by piece. But we're going to see our first set of shadow ministers on Labor Day, all right, on June 2nd. We're going to see them. And these people are now going to start responding to different issues that are going on in this country. So you're not just going to hear my voice. You're going to see from these people. You're going to see that we have qualified Bahamians who decided to come forward and put themselves forward. All right. So you're going to see a first few of them. And then you're going to see more and more. That's every few months. We're going to start putting people out. Please join the movement. Please fund the movement. Assist us in what we are doing. This can only happen if you make this happen. All right, you can go to our website. You can go to GoFundMe. Go to our website, and you can use a credit card to fund us. Or you can come to the headquarters in the South in Pinewood, and you can fund the movement. This can only take place if you make it happen. And so every movement has to educate the people. And so people say, well, everyone just come out and go to Rawson Square. Everyone isn't educated yet. Believe it or not, there's some people who don't really understand what's happening. There's some people who work 2 jobs and they don't have time to watch the news and pay attention to what's going on. There are people who are still asleep, and it's your job to wake them up. The first phase of the revolution is education. You have to educate your friends and family. Wake them up. Open their eyes. Once they are awake and they see that the house is on fire, then they can come with you. Then they can be saved. Don't give up on them. We have to wake them up. And so these things like rallies and et cetera, these are things that will assist in doing that. It will also show the government that we are a strong force. And when we talk, you must listen. The Bahamian people behind us. All right. And so this is what we're doing. We are fighting fearlessly. Now, there are some people who aren't on social media. They don't watch YouTube. They're not on Facebook. And Facebook, the government is able to block certain things from Facebook now. And so a lot of people won't get the message. So it's your job to spread the message. Don't just tell us to get the message out there. It's your job. Okay. So make sure that you spread the word. This will happen if you make it happen. You know, every political movement had to go through the same thing. They don't want the message to get out there. They want to keep spending this money, making this money, and keeping it for themselves. That's what they want to do. You have to decide if you want politicians to stay rich and keep making them rich, or you think all of us should eat. I think it's time for all Bahamians to eat. There's enough for all of us. There's more than enough. That's their words. Billions of dollars is being made in our country. What we getting? Nothing. But all they want to tell you is, I'm selling dreams. You ought to stay focused. Let's make this happen. Bring your family and friends out. So we're going to be in Elizabeth Estate walking about on Saturday. And remember, we have the tea party coming up on the 28th. Go get your tickets. And men, come too. I'm going to be there. All right. And remember, they always say the COI has the most beautiful women in the country. Beautiful, smart, intelligent. So men, make sure you come be there. Don't let the women be there alone. All right. And we're going to have a good time out there at the tea party. And also, we're looking forward to seeing you on June 2nd, Labor Day. It's time. Someone says, Brave, gotta go now. Once they see the strong force, they're going to start panicking. And it's going to cause an exponential effect. Exponential effect. And we're going to blow them out of the House of Assembly. Come out in June. Let's keep standing. Like I told you before, I am willing to stand in front of you. I am going to stand in the front lines. I am going to lead the way. I am going to take the bullets. I am going to take the arrests. I'm going to take the charges if I have to. I'm going to take the blows, get dragged, do whatever it takes. Just stand behind me. That's all I ask. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of them. I'm going to stand up for my one Bahamas. Just stand with me. This is not about me. This is about us this time. This time we're voting for ourselves. The politicians have failed us. The so-called smart fellas in the cold suit, they failed us. It's time for us to stand up for ourselves. No help is coming. We need real Bahamians to come forward and stand up. I'm going to be in the front lines, taking all the blows, unafraid and unapologetically Bahamian. Stand with me. June 2nd, 2022, 6 p.m. The war begins. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in. And wanted to keep this one short, but I gotta go tend to some other work for the Bahamian people. Stay focused, stay united, and remember that we can have the change that we wish to see. And change ain't coming. Change is here. June 2nd, blackout.
What happened in Dubai with the citizens?
Monarchy, and monarchy take care of their people and make sure that they're paid $2,000 per family, maybe $3,000. And life is cheaper there. Life is cheaper, but all the Dubai citizens are paid, very paid.
From who?
From the monarch, from the king.
From the king?
Yeah, from the king.
Wow.
Money comes in through the government. The government distributes the money to the people. And there are no poor people. They're like only
Dubai,
poor people in
you
Dubai
cannot be
are
poor.
those that came
No
from
poor
another
in
country.
Dubai.
No poor in Dubai.
Just like Kuwait. They get money, like almost like American Indian the casinos. The money goes out to the people. Okay? And the only poor people in Dubai or Kuwait are those who come from other countries to work for the citizens that are there.
Wow.
And in Israel, if you're a citizen, you get a lot of $10,000 and $50,000, but you have to wait per person.
Wow. Bahamas. It's happening around the world. In the Bahamas, we are a rich nation.
We are a rich nation.
And the Bahamas government refused to give us money. change is coming
change.
to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
It's coalition time.
I wish all the best for Bahamas to be rich people. That's it.
Thank you.
To be the rich people in the world. That's what people think. We're rich people in the world.
Wow.
This may be the best citizenship in the world, and they all have it. Because of this card, they get free land, free education, free weddings, free hospitals, and even a free funeral. It's the citizenship of a country in the Middle East called the United Arab Emirates. This is what life is like for citizens from the Emirate of Dubai. And because the city is so generous, they get the craziest benefits I have ever seen. Are you ready for this? When you are born, your parents pay nothing. Your delivery and checkups for the next 9 months are all free. Then you grow up and you go to school. Local school in Dubai is free! And so are universities, because Dubai will pay for you to get a degree.
I studied at Zayed University and New York University, both for free.
Who's gonna pay for that?
The government.
Then you get married. If you can't afford the wedding, you get $20,000 to throw a wedding. And after marriage, every local Dubai family gets this: free land. Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Yes.
Did you get free land?
Sure, yes.
And if you cannot afford the home, then you get a grant to build it for free.
I also can't afford building a house. I can get a 0-interest loan on housing.
Zero?
0.
If you need to go to the hospitals are free. And if you need surgery that's not available here, they will fly you to another country to get treatment for free. When you become a senior citizen, you get discounts, many discounts. And if you live alone and can't afford it, Dubai will even send a caretaker to look after you for free. And when you die, well, in Dubai, that's also free. Your funeral will be taken care of, and Dubai will build a full tent with air conditioning within 5 hours of your death next to your home, so your friends can come and say goodbye to you. The point of government is to take care of people, and in Dubai, they take it to the extreme. Imagine if every city, every state, every government in the world did this. We would have a much happier world.
You know, a lot of people wonder how Dubai became a very big, famous and rich city.
You see, if you're comparing with Nigeria, listen to this. Nigeria has oil before than Dubai. It's a history. They are more rich than us. They have agriculture, they have mining, they have everything, you name it, they have it. Am I right or wrong? When you have a true leadership, which we have nothing, but we have everything because we have the right leadership. That's the only thing you need, a right leader for your country, not corruption. That's what brings your country at the top. You don't need anything. We want water, we don't have agriculture, we don't have mining.
That's quite interesting.
And that's Sheikh Mohammed. Number one, he doesn't know number two, he needs only number one. He says, I don't know, there's no number two in my book. Only number one.
I hear he doesn't ride in a convoy.
I don't know how you did this in 50 years. You look at history, who does this? Show me anybody else that has done this in 50 years. I'm waiting. Show them to me. This wasn't done by money. Money doesn't produce visions. Visions produce money. You've had leadership over here that were visionaries, great visionaries, and their vision was more about the people than the money, because you can't accomplish this in 50 years without loving your people first, because the people are the ones that's benefiting from this. Look at your health care. Look at your road system. Look at your highway system. Look at your airports. Who does this in 50 years? But who benefits? You're going to care about those people. It's something to be learned about what's been done over here that could be duplicated in the world, because there's people with this much money. You just don't have people with this much love for their people.